Ohio State is coming off a national championship. 14-2, best team in America last year, and they are top 3 in preseason odds to win it all in 2025. Their fan base is on fire, as they should be, and are very excited for this season, and their coach and several Buckeye captains, or key players, just said their piece at media days. So today I want to discuss the hypothetical of not just can Ohio State repeat as national champions, but whether or not this Ohio State team could get better, you heard that right, better than last year's team, and even mimic 2019 LSU. So, as always, let's talk about it and go through this process and how this would have to play out. So, Ohio State is minus 320 to reach the playoffs, plus 185 to win the Big Ten. They're the favorite there out of all the Big Ten teams to both be in the playoffs and win the Big Ten. And their over-under win total is 10.5. Week 1, they play Texas. Week 2, they got Grambling State. Week 3, they got Ohio. Week 5, because they have a Week 4 bye, they play at Washington. Week 6, they host Minnesota. Week 7, they play at Illinois. Week 8, they play at Wisconsin. Off the Week 9 bye, they host Penn State. Week 10, which should be a top 10 matchup, so the game of 10s. At Purdue is their game Week 11. Week 12, they host UCLA. Week 13, they host Rutgers. And Week 14, they play at Michigan. That is the Ohio State schedule this year. I lean positive for the Buckeyes at a variety of positions, so that's a good start to this hypothetical. The talent is there. And when I look at how some Buckeyes, whether some of their accounts or how even some of their, analysts, beat writers, and even how some analysts nationally have been talking about this team, I think there is a wider sense that this team will improve or be the exact same team as last year in terms of overall power ratings than I previously expected or that I would have expected. I lean positive at quarterback. I think Julian Sayin will be a top 10 quarterback this year. I also lean positive, obviously, at wide receiver, where you have Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, who I think are going to be All-Americans, and Brandon Inniss and Mylan Graham are certainly all Big Ten caliber players. Before we resume this segment, please take a few seconds of your time to make sure you have liked the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for the channel and for any team podcasts and playlists linked in the description, and also comment your thoughts down below in the comment section and join my Discord server via the description. All of those things I just asked you to do are completely free, and they sign you up for things related to my channel, or they don't sign you up for anything. No cost to you, and all the benefit to you because we release daily college football content here on College Football with Sam. If you want to support the channel monetarily, sign up for a YouTube membership, or check any other links in the description for my merchandise store and Patreon page. Thank you very much, and let's get back to the segment. Max Clare could be the nation's best tight end. If not, I think only Kenyon Sadiq is in that conversation, or maybe Luke Reynolds at the end of the year for tight ends in conference who can compare with Max Clare. At linebacker, I think that Arvell Reese has the potential to be the best linebacker in America. Same with Sonny Styles, so that's fantastic. And then safety, you got the best defensive player in Caleb Downs, and I would look out for Jalen McClain. I think he's going to have a good year. And there are other positions that will be strong. I'm just not necessarily more positive on those than the public or their body of work has provided so far. So I'm not picking every position to reload in the same way that I'm picking a lot of those positions to reload. I'm concerned, in contradiction with a lot of Ohio State people, with the offensive line and defensive line. I think that as the preseason's gone on, there has been more confidence in both of those rooms. And while I think that both nationally are good, like any G5 school would want both of their O-line and D-line. Any Big 12 school would. Most ACC schools would. And a lot of Big Ten and SEC schools would too. Neither are elite units. And I don't think either, but particularly in regards with depth and upside, the O-line is even a near elite unit. I think the O-line's just good. I think the D-line's good or great. So that's why I say lean negative there, even though I think they're good. They have some good players, some even elite players. I think Caden McDonald's going to be a really good potential All-American defensive tackle for Ohio State. They could go 12-0, But more realistically, I think 11-1 is what's to be expected with just some of the landmines, the youth of this team, the tough games. It's the 15th toughest strength of schedule, only looking at Big Ten conference games. So that also helps the case for this team to kind of ease into themselves and get stronger as the year goes on. And they're first in preseason S&P Plus. So per Bill Connolly, this team should be the favorite to win the national championship yet again. But that's just the should be or very basic projections. We're talking about whether this team will improve, whether it will be more athletic or better, or can it not just win it all again, but win it all in dominant fashion? Like, can they go 12-0? Because last year's team could have gone 9-3 or even 8-4 if they lost all their close games. They could have gone 12-0 if they won all those close games. But ideally, if you're Ohio State, you do not want to play in 4 close regular season games, especially when 2 of them are against a 6-6 Nebraska and a 7-5 Michigan. So what would be the path there? Well, what needs to happen for Ohio State to improve from last year, or maybe entirely reload, and certainly to be LSU, is the coaching, development, athleticism, and depth must improve from 2024 to 2025. They have to. They absolutely have to. In all areas, they have to get better, because 2019 LSU probably aces everyone last year by 21 points or more. I mean, just think about Jeremiah Smith and how good he is, and then think about Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Weren't as generational in college as Jeremiah Smith is from a trait standpoint, but Smith is not guaranteed to even have their level of wide receiver production in the NFL, because right now they're number 1, number 2 wide receivers in the NFL. No one is guaranteed that, because that's a few years out for Jeremiah Smith, and those are just absolutely historic seasons. Like, that's a wide receiver duo that you only see once a century, perhaps, if not maybe once more than that. And then Burrow had 60 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, for example. And 2019 was a strong year in college football. Last year was a weak year in college football. Think I'm wrong? Just look at the NFL players taken in the following drafts of those seasons. Ohio State, the coordinator hires would have to pan out, and games like Nebraska and Michigan can't happen. That ties in with coaching. In regards to strength and conditioning, the Buckeyes will have to be more athletic and deeper than the 2024 unit. They'll have to be. Last year's unit was deep, it was experienced, it was very athletic. The reason I'm able to even say more so is because they weren't 2019 LSU, which no champion since 2020 Bama has been that level of team. And in order to just get better than last year, they'd have to be more athletic and deeper, because when you look at the defensive line, for example, they're smaller there than they were last year. You look at quarterback. I mean, Howard was bigger and more experienced last year than Sayin is going to be this year. Doesn't have the same star rating out of high school, but those things plus his mobility matter. So you have to have, things overall go your way, because in some specific instances, you're definitely lacking compared to last year. Skill positions must do their thing. You can't have injuries to your best player there. Running back and quarterback have to reload, and tight end can't disappoint. Wide receiver obviously isn't going to disappoint. Injuries don't count. If your receiver core gets injured, that's not on you unless it is a recurring theme every year, and that has not been the case with Heartline's units. If they improve or stay the same, that's good enough at wide receiver, because it was already awesome last season. For emphasis, again, 2019 LSU, 2020 Bama, those type of teams were generational. If Sayin isn't the clear number 1 quarterback, then something else has to happen. Like, another group outside of wide receiver must step up and be as generational as wide receiver, or as generational as an elite, clear number 1 quarterback would be. Whether that's a unit on defense, or more likely maybe the running back room, or the O-line is all of a sudden the number 1 O-line in America by a mile. You get my point. And what this would look like is that Ohio State would easily blow out everyone on their schedule, with the exception of maybe Penn State and Texas, if and only if those teams also play to their potential. So if this happens, then this team goes 12-0. It might not be an easy 12-0 because they do have some good teams that also have very high ceilings, but it also could be an easy 12-0 if Penn State and Texas don't play to their potential. Is this possible? Well, yes. I mean, Ohio State has the talent. They have the blue chip ratio, the top 100 players, and I think Day is a better coach than Ed Orgeron. But it would be risky to predict, and I'm not going to predict it. And I think this final minute or two that I talk about, it's going to kind of be a warning. I've seen a lot of people for Ohio State say the following will come true. That Sayin will be elite or even better than Howard, especially at the end of the year. That wide receiver will improve. This one I agree with, by the way. I think that Tate has higher upside than Emeka Egbuka, and the room's just deeper than it was last year. A tight end will improve. Seen people say that too. I also agree with that. That running back by the end of the year will completely reload. That the O-line is a Joe Moore Award caliber unit. Let's segue into the next part. And by the way, quarterback reloading or get better means people say he's going to be a top 3 quarterback or even number 1. I have also seen people say the D-line's going to be more athletic. The Patricia will be better than Jim Knowles. That linebacker will be better. I actually agree with that on a talent basis. That safety will reload. Not get better. I've actually seen no one say that, which is a relief because Ransom and Hancock were damn good last year. They returned downs, but losing 2 out of your 3 there, including nickel, that's big. And I've also seen people say that corner will improve, if not drastically. If all those things come true, then this team will be better than last year. And I think given the production they lost, the coordinator changes they have, the fact that you're going from Jim Knowles, who's almost unanimously viewed right now as the number 1 DC in football, and moving on from Chip Kelly, who many viewed as potentially the best OC in college football last year, you're moving on to new green play caller, Brian Hartline, a DC in Patricia who's never been a DC in college, and NFL's obviously better, but there are things about college that are unique that you'll have to adjust to, and also hasn't been a defensive coordinator for a full-time season in well over half a decade, since his Patriot days. I don't think it's likely. It would truly have to be lightning in a bottle, and I have to say that for some people, the amount of picking things to go right with all that's been lost and the fact that we're not in the pre-portal era. We're not. So you can't stack all conference players on top of all conference players at every position. Or if you do, you have a big budget or your developmental staff is above and beyond everyone else's. I would just caution some people here in regards to their Ohio State predictions where you can pick the team to win it all. You can pick them to win the Big Ten. But picking them to go 12-0 or picking them to go 16-0 or picking this team to improve or saying things like they're going to be more athletic or that the O-line will all of a sudden be number 1 in America in a new O-line coach's year, and when their blue chip ratio is lower and they don't have a first rounder there by preseason, you're basically picking everything to go right for this team in such a drastic way. So not things slightly going right for every position, but just going drastically right for every position, that you're probably going to be disappointed. And you shouldn't. I mean, the last thing that should happen this year is that Ohio State goes, let's say they go 12-3, 10-2 regular season, win 2 playoff games, lose in the semifinals, and then people are calling for Day's job or saying it's a disappointing season, which will happen. I mean, that would have happened last year if they lost the Cotton Bowl. It would have. It's just a little bit of caution there, but I also will say that if you are really convinced that this team is going to be that good, there is a chance, so maybe hold on to it. Thank you for watching College Football with Sam. Make sure that you've liked the video, subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell for the channel and team playlists and podcasts in the description, joined the free Discord server where we talk college football 24/7, and have commented your thoughts down below. Check out the description for any ways you can support the channel monetarily. Everything else I've asked you to do is completely free, and your support means the world to me. We're trying to become the next big thing on college football YouTube. 6-figure subscribers, maybe 1 million one day. I think we can do that. And also check out any videos or playlists, anything in these columns right here. where there will be videos and playlists. Yeah, you get the point. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one.